are live. What is up, Gray?
Another day in paradise, my friend.
Man, we haven't done this in a long time, haven't we? Are you all right, man?
I'm alive. I'm alive, man. It's
You got your voice back.
That's a positive thing. Yeah, man.
Uh,
Even in the last live stream I did last week, I was still a little, some people said it was a little, but I think it's just because I was talking too much. The folks finally got to hear me talk for an hour and 15 minutes straight.
No, I participated in that live stream. I just didn't hang out in the chats. I remember that. I remember I remember that. Yeah, you and I talked about that, about why I had to leave. You made me angry. You made me angry, Gray. How's everyone doing? Who's in the house? All of our mods are here. Hello, ladies. Nostradamus, how you doing? Pepper Prepper, New Florida Prepper 1, Forrest, how are you? All right, hey, take it away, Gray. You're the one that's got the content here.
I am?
Don't let me get started.
Well, I mean, I like saying hi to everybody. I see Mark in there, Jules, Stewart's prepping, Alaska 1, Andy, Stormweather, Allison Carlson, 21 Up Pump 5, Ellis E, Captain Pegleg, Liz Chavez, Gabriel Medea, Jeffrey Linguist.
Look at that. Alaska 1, check it out, man. It's a lot warmer up here than it is down there. It's only negative 24 where I'm at.
Is he north or south of you?
Not as bad.
Is Alaska Andy north or south of you?
More than likely, Alaska Andy is south. Let us know, okay. Alaska Andy. I'm pretty sure you're south, not north. If you're north of me, then you probably live in the bush.
I mean, the wife told me right before we started this live stream, she's like, yeah, it's getting chilly. And I'm like, it's 62 degrees. It's, I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Oh, goodness.
But all in all, man.
Look at this. Hey, do you know this guy? Do you know these guys here? I think we have a new community member. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Frontier Preppers, to the Alaska Prepper community. Oh, man, it's good to see you, Billy. D.
I actually get notifications for their channel. Funny enough, I get notifications all the time.
I don't get any notifications. You said your last live stream, I got a notification for that live stream.
But maybe because it was last minute.
Yeah, like you and I talked today, I went to your channel, and believe it or not, I'm only like 2 videos behind, I think. I think the last video I watched of yours was not the one with the first aid kit, but I think the one after that. I forgot what it was about.
I didn't
get notifications for any of those at all.
The one you should have got a notification, because usually YouTube is happy with the ones that I do, was the don't make these avoid these prepper pantry mistakes.
Nope. I watched that video today, but I didn't get a notification for that or the one before that. Wow. The one before that, like 3 videos ago, I didn't get a notification either, but that's the one that I was caught up to, was that one. So
gotta love it, man. We're always going to be suppressed.
Hey, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Try to fight the beast, and you're going to spend all your time trying to fight it. Just go with the flow and do what you can do. Do what you can do. So that's all you can do, man. Do what you can do, because that's all you can do. Oh yeah, Alaska 1 lives in North Pole. So yeah, North Pole is usually a lot colder than we are up here. Usually by about, I don't know, anywhere between 10 to 20 degrees sometimes.
Wow, he's definitely in a polar vortex, all right.
Yeah. We can't complain up here because this winter, in my opinion, has been very mild compared to previous winters. So I'm not complaining. Like so far this year, my main heating fuel is heating oil. That's the heating fuel that we use 98% of the time, is heating oil, right? The other 2%, we use a little bit of electric now and then when it's not that cold, but so far this year, we've only gone, I did the math, we've gone through about 300 gallons so far this year. And that's to heat our entire house and the downstairs where I keep our water tanks and utilities. So that's really not bad. Usually by this time of the year, we're at about 450 or so gallons. And we're at about 300 so far this year. So can't really complain. We've had a mild winter, in my opinion, compared to other years. RG71, how you doing?
I don't know. The weather here is great. The garden's loving it. I'm going to do a garden update here soon. I've been impressed. I've been impressed with the garden. What's going on, Margarita? Keisha?
Linda Bop is in the house.
Linda Bop, what is up?
Look at who's here. PNW is in the house.
PNW. A lot of great folks in here tonight, man. They're probably wondering what are we going to be talking about, man? We're going to get controversial a little bit tonight.
Are we really? I don't. Hey, let me just tell some of you that maybe here for the first time during this little session that Gray and I have once a week. By the way, for those of you that don't know, 1 week we have it on my channel, like today, and next Monday we'll have it on Gray's channel. So that's how we do. We go back and forth. But usually Gray picks up some things that we're going to talk about. I don't know anything about them, so I have no idea what it is that he's going to introduce into the live stream. We're going to talk about. I figure that. Or we figure that if we keep at least one set of eyes fresh to it, it'd be better. Better for a honest reaction, I guess you can say, right?
Yeah,
a non-scripted reaction, right? Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Spontaneity of the conversation. Nothing scripted. Scripting it's just too much of a headache. I like the surprises and stuff like that. Speaking of which, next week when we do the show on my channel, I'm gonna share something with folks. So stay tuned. We're going to be giving some announcements and stuff like that. Plus, Rudy hasn't mentioned this yet. We're going to, it's an election year, folks. So we're going to be doing some, what do you call it? What are the things where they bicker amongst, if they do them? I mean, if they do any of the, what are they called? The conversations where they argue with each other?
I don't know, man. I don't barely even follow that kind of stuff.
Well, I know, but it's like where they do the caucus and they're, you have all the Republican
debate.
Yeah, the debates. We want to cover the debates.
Hey, great. Do you want to do? I've never done this, and I hate getting political, but just to make it fun, do you want to do a election Super Bowl, like 1.5 hours on my channel and 1.5 hours on yours?
That would actually be pretty fun. Yeah,
funny and fun. Let's see. Not a banned account. Thank you. How you doing, by the way? In an emergency, it's illegal for municipalities or states to reappropriate food and water supplies from supply hoarders for the public. I don't know what you mean by supply hoarders, but I'll just leave that out. If not, can we make it? Well, the thing is, not a banned account. Absolutely, it's legal, 100%. But you have to understand that there is a difference between the word legal and the word lawful. Now, I could tell you right now that it's 100% legal for a police officer in many states in the United States of America to pull you over because you didn't flash your light to go on a right turn or whatever. And if you have $5,000 in your front seat and the police officer sees it, it's 100% legal for him to just forget about your Fourth Amendment and take that money, and then you have to go and prove that that money was lawfully yours. Is it lawful, though? Is it lawful according to the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution of the United States for that police officer to do civil asset forfeiture before due process? No, according to the Constitution, it's not lawful, but the states have made it legal. All right. So is it legal for a local municipality, local government, state government, federal government to steal your private property? They can make anything that they want legal. All right. But is it lawful? I found out that the government can make anything they want legal when New York City made it legal for someone, a female, to get rid of a child at the date of birth at 9 months. I won't talk any more about that. I know that's a touchy subject, but in my opinion, that's satanic. And not only is it legal because man made it legal, but it is 100% unlawful. And for those of you that may be new to the Alaska Prepper channel, get used to getting a 20-minute answer for a 3-second question. All right. Thank you very much, not a ban account. Was that a good answer, Grayman, or do you disagree with anything I said?
No, I agree, man. I mean, the president has executive orders that they can enforce to take over communications, shut down Wi-Fi to people. I mean, there's a lot of things that people don't realize, liberties that people have given up through a lot of different presidencies, Republican and Democrat, that they don't realize that they signed off on.
But it's legal. It's legal, Gray. It's legal, therefore it must be moral. Okay?
Yeah.
What does that say? That's the rabbit hole that we as a nation have gone into. is
but what is that
allowing
saying?
man to make laws for man instead
Yeah,
of
I'm just
abiding by the laws that are natural laws. You
yeah,
see,
but
I
remember,
know
it's
you
just
want to talk. I know you want to talk, Greg, but you got to give me a second here. It's been a long time. You see you see this nation here, the United States of America. It was founded under natural law, meaning that you have the right to defend yourself. Naturally speaking, every being on this earth has the right to defend themselves. Go to the Sahara and cut the horns of the gazelles, and the lions will thank you and probably make a holiday in your name, because no more do they have to fear the gazelle's horns for them to defend themselves. There goes your Second Amendment. Anywhere in this world, anyone that is born, unless they're born with a deficiency, they have a mouth and a brain with which they can use their mouth to express how they feel. That is a natural law. All right, that's the First Amendment. The Third Amendment, where you cannot be forced by the federal government or state to house soldiers, that is private property. That is a private property law. That is a natural law that your private property belongs to you.
mm,
Same thing with the Fourth Amendment, right? Same thing with due process, Fifth Amendment, or speedy trial and then due process, et cetera, et cetera. All right. So, yes, man can make anything they want legal, but is it really lawful? And in my opinion, our Bill of Rights was founded under natural laws, laws that, hey, it kind of makes sense that I should be able to say whatever the heck I want, because feelings can't really break your arms or break your legs. I digress.
no, you're absolutely right. I was just thinking of that whole saying of I'm just following orders kind of thing, you know?
Oh yeah, that always works out really good. Yeah, I mean, you look throughout history, and it's worked out really, really well every single time. Hey,
Absolutely.
hey, great. Why you got to get me riled up first thing in the interview? I mean, in this live
I
stream,
haven't even started yet, man. Wait till this. We gotta. It's a bit of a long clip
man.
that I have.
All right,
By
all right, all right. The floor is yours, brother.
well, I got a clip by Dr. Merrill Nass, who explains how the WHO is proposing about the pandemic treaty and what it entails. I don't know if you want to watch it, but it's pretty interesting coming from her. Of course, she's going to be suppressed, but she was there and she put it all out on the table. It's quite intriguing what she says, man.
How old is this clip, if you don't mind me asking? Like,
I
when
came
was it?
across it 2 weeks ago.
But I mean, like, when did it occur? When did this meeting at the WHO occur?
In recent history, it's not that old. It
Okay, yeah,
shouldn't be that old. I
let's
mean,
do it, man. I mean, you want me to put it up now?
yeah, and I'm trying to. Oh, I can pause and play. Okay, go ahead, because once it goes dark, then just pause it and bring it back down, because I put all the clips together, but I put a gap in between the clips. So just run
Okay.
the first clip.
Well, just give me a hand signal or something if you want me to stop it or take it off or whatever. Okay, here we
It'll
go.
fade out. It'll fade out.
Okay.
You're good.
All right.
We're undergoing a soft coup, and the idea is to create a whole new set of laws and ignore the existing human rights laws and other laws under the pretext of pandemic preparedness and the biosecurity agenda. The WHO is developing through all its nations, but with the WHO Directorate in the United States in charge, a pandemic treaty and amendments to the existing international health regulations that will remove the human rights protections currently embedded in the IHRs, will enforce surveillance, censorship, get rid of freedom of speech, require governments to censor and only push a single narrative. Also, we will be subject, if they can make this work, to vaccines developed in 100 days, which the organization CEPI is planning to do. And one of the people who founded CEPI was Jeremy Farrar, who is now the chief scientist at the WHO, to bring this forward. Other things that the amendments do is to bind the states so they're no longer recommendations but enforceable edicts, provide a liability shield, get rid of intellectual property rights, move supplies from one country to another, enforce digital passports, and the Director General of WHO can demand that a pandemic or a potential pandemic exists he can just declare it with no standards, and then countries around the world will have to obey. Also, the WHO will tell you what drugs you can and can't use in your nation once a.
Hey, Gray, I think that's enough. We got the gist of it. I just don't want to get kicked off of YouTube for our live. But
Roger
that's
that.
a good clip. I have heard about that. I haven't seen that clip. But all it is the same thing, Gray, and correct me if I'm wrong, that we've been talking about forever, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about it, about globalization, about globalists wanting to take control, about having a one world government. That's what she's talking about having one entity that has the power over all the other countries, whether or not those countries have elected officials, that are supposed to be, working toward the will of their constituents, right? That's what this is. And, like I said, yeah, I did put up a video earlier today about how the 1% want to pretty much control everything that everyone does, right? Because they are out of touch with how the regular person, you, me, the people that are here, they're out of touch with how we live our lives. So they think that they know better just because they think that they are better. And it's the same thing on a national level, right? And a world level. The good news is that, in my opinion, and this is good news, is that globalization is over, right? And we can thank the U.S. government for that. Right? Globalization is over. It may not be over right now, but it is fading and it will fade. In order for there to be globalization, there has to be an interconnectivity among all nations that want to work together towards the same goal. And that's no more. Right? That's no more through the abuses that have been taken through the dollar, through the SWIFT system, through sanctions, et cetera, et cetera. Globalization, in my opinion, is coming to an end. And that doesn't mean that things are going to get really great. Remember that things are going to get harder before they get better. But we will make it to the other side if we're prepared, in my opinion.
No, it's at the end of that clip, she says they want to treat us, basically they want to treat humans like animals. And I was like, wow, she literally just called them all out on it. I don't know how long she's going to be around for, because people that speak out usually disappear, but I was thoroughly impressed with that lady.
It doesn't surprise me one bit. And you know what the sad thing is that we're on this earth for such a short amount of time, and you have people that pretty much have everything. And when I say that they have everything, is that they have no need, right? They have no need and they have excess. I'm a capitalist by nature. I believe that if Gray Man makes the best flip-flop in the world and he sells 1 billion of them and makes $1 profit off of each, that Gray Man ought to keep every single dollar he made and do whatever he wants with them. If you want to donate some, you can. If you don't want to donate any, you don't have to. It's yours. You earned it. However, these people have so much that they have nothing to look forward to. Think about that, having so much that you no longer have anything to look forward to. Therefore, what fulfills their life is control. Is how can they control this power? Look at George Soros. That man has enough wealth to last generations. But what does he do? He likes to topple over governments. He likes to make currencies topple over so that he can profit. For them, it's a game, right? And we're here in the bottom having to abide by the stupid games that they make us play, unfortunately.
Yeah, there was something I was trying to find as you were talking. It made me think about it. George Soros' son, he's been in the media a lot lately. And if you look him up, you can find pictures of him with every single president and Speaker of the House and all kinds of stuff. He has his hands deep. So even George Soros, once he decides to, make his exit on this plane of existence, his son will kind of take that helm and move forward with the agenda.
Yep, I know. I've been following his son for a while now, and he's what do they call it? A chip off the old block? Is that what it is?
One thing he did make me feel good about when he was speaking at the WEF thing over there in Davos, he said and like about 75 times in a 2-minute conversation. So I was like, man, I'm a better speaker than he is. So it made me feel good about myself here on YouTube.
Yeah. Let's see. All right, there's one of our brothers right there. We've got an 11 Bravo in the house.
11 Bravo.
Those dirty infantrymen. I love my brothers, man.
Mama Bear
What else you got,
J15, he
man?
probably is. He probably is Mama Bear. Mama Bear says, I hear he's worse than his son is worse than he is.
Well, probably, probably. But, the thing is the thing that people don't understand is that, there's nothing we can do about that. There's nothing we can do about any of these things that are going to happen. It's, in my opinion, it's already been written. All right. What can we do? We can not make the same mistake that so many in the past have made, and it's to not prepare. All right, so your local municipality can come and ransack your house and take your number 10 cans. Okay, let's not prepare. What the heck? Right? No, let's prepare. Right? Let's do the right thing. We have a responsibility to our families to do the right thing and make sure we're prepared for whatever the situation may be. If it happens, if it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It is what it is. But these things are going to happen no matter what we do. They're out of our control, right? So get prepared and stay prepared. That's the best that we can do.
Yeah, I heard a story. One of my viewers on my channel had wrote me a comment, or maybe it was an email, and they're like, Gray, I really believe in what you say. And the reason I believe that, because I talk about, having an emergency food pantry, which I think everyone should have, and why it's important. And, there's some naysayers out there. I'll speak of one in a second, but this person wrote, they lost their job. They were in a bad situation. It was about a year or so ago, and they lived off the food that they had stockpiled in their pepper pantry. And they said they made it through that hump, that big hump in the road where everything went to crap, but their food security was saved by having that prepper pantry. So a lot of people feel like, oh, I'm just, putting this food up for the end of the world. No, we're putting food up for any type of emergency that happens to present itself in our lives. And that could just be one of them, the loss of a job, something that's not simple, but dramatic, that it can happen in someone's life, because sometimes people take 2-3 months to get another job, and food is expensive. So having that availability to them, they got to live off that food, get ahead of themselves without having to worry about food, and put that money away and get back on their feet. So that was a great story. Then on the video that I just did on about prepper pantry mistakes, I had a lady write me, and I couldn't even answer, because it was just like she was like, all I hear is people that stockpile. She says, I grow my own food. I go out and hunt for my own food. And people who eat canned goods are usually morbidly obese. And I'm thinking to myself, does this lady, and I guess I should have just made it not a specific person, but this person literally doesn't understand that it's an emergency food pantry, and that in a true SHTF scenario, or a Great Depression like scenario, you're not going to. They tried to hunt, it didn't work out for them. They created victory gardens, but what about if there's a hard freeze? What about if there's a drought? What about if there's so many different things that could possibly happen? Isn't it smart to have a prepper pantry, canned goods, freeze-dried, whatever that you want to have in that pantry that works for you and your family? Why not have that as a fallback system in case you can't go hunt, in case you have a bad, season of growing your own food? You need to have those redundancies in place. Regardless if canned food is not the healthiest option in the world, you need sustenance.
Right. Hey, Gray, I have a joke. You want to hear it?
Sure, shoot.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a joke. Okay. A vegetarian and a vegan are sitting on a bridge, and they're both going to jump off to see who hits the ground first. Who wins? Anybody? Can anybody say who wins, the vegetarian or the vegan?
I'm waiting for someone to. I love your dad jokes, Rudy.
Let me know when you give up. Somebody got it. Society wins.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome. I
forgot
where I heard that. I think it was the little kid who was saying that joke when I heard it. It's really funny.
You got to have some sort of sense of humor, no matter how dark it gets.
Grandma says the meat eater.
It's God. Speaking of meat, yeah. I don't know. on your console there, can you skip past the lady that's talking that where you stopped it and skip past to the next
Yeah,
clip
want me to put it? Yeah,
bring it up?
yeah. Just tell me when to stop or go forward or go back.
Is declared
Or just go ahead past.
are no
Go past her. All right, go back a little bit. All right, right there.
Most of this information looks like standard fare for police, but as we dig deeper into the app, we can see that ordinary, routine, legal behavior is being treated by authorities as suspect.
This is what it looks like when the IJOP system has flagged someone whose phone number the system has lost track of. The IJOP system sends an alert to government officials to go and investigate the reason why that phone number has gone missing, and note if this person is suspicious and requires further investigation. Or here's another example. This is a report that the IJOP system sends to government officials about someone who used an unusual amount of electricity. Wow. The report includes the date in which the unusual amount of electricity used was logged by the system, how much electricity was used, what was the meter reading, and what is the usual range of electricity used. Then the government official is required to go and investigate this person.
If you use WhatsApp or Viber or Telegram, that might be considered suspicious. If you go at the back door of your house instead of the front, the police might turn up to investigate. The list goes on. The information from the app feeds into a central system and combines with information from other surveillance systems, including CCTV cameras that rely on facial recognition software, and even Wi-Fi sniffers that are used as people walk through checkpoints to pull information off their phones. The IJOP system aggregates all this data about people, flags those it deems suspicious, and sends alerts to nearby officials. These dubious criteria are being used to identify large numbers of people, many of whom are then arbitrarily locked up.
In total, I spent about a month in different jails. I wasn't officially accused of anything or charged with anything. The official paperwork said something like, I was arrested under the suspicion of disrupting the societal order. Then after that, I was basically under house arrest because they marked my ID card.
Or you can stop.
Nice.
That is China's system that is moving to a country near you.
Oh, that's the system that Mr. Justin Trudeau said is a great system.
Absolutely. Canadians, be on the lookout.
I mean, Canadians
here in the United States,
you know, our brothers and sisters to my south, your north, they already know what's up. They've already seen this firsthand. Oh, I think there's a ghost in here, man. They've already seen this firsthand, man. I mean, just with the trucker stuff here a couple years back, where they seized people's accounts just because they were exercising their First Amendment right. They already know what's up. You know what, Gray? This is what it comes down to. You know, I'm a cycles guy, all right? And a cycle is coming. It's coming to a head where here, I believe, in our lifetime, because even those cycles are per se, let's say on average 250 years, a country is born and a country is lost. It's on average. It doesn't mean that this time is going to be at 250 years. It may be 260 years, right? Or 270 or 230. Well, we're at 246, I think, right now, or 47.
I thought we were 249.
I believe, from the birth of our nation, 1776.
Yeah, 2026 will be 250 years, I think.
There you go. So we're a couple years away, really. So, you know, I believe that within our lifetime, that this country is going to go through a major transition for good or bad. I believe in the end that good will prevail over evil, but in that transition, there's going to be a lot of suffering, and that's what we need to be prepared for, so that when we do make it to the other side, that we have strong patriots. Do you want to be a beggar in the streets when we started our new system, or do you want to be a leader and someone that can help your community, right? So, I mean, that's what I believe. It's got to happen because we are at the end of this cycle. We are at the end of this era, I guess you can say also.
Sums up the and absolutely, Linda. And here's a catch, folks. How many of you folks are in a state where you have a digital thermostat and they lock it.
Yeah,
How many of you folks have?
Yeah.
Rudy did a video on this not too long ago.
Colorado, yeah.
Rudy did a video not this too long ago where you can see where the banking system is tracking keywords. If you shop at Bass Pro, if you shop at Academy Sports, if you shop at Dick's Sporting Goods, without your permission, you know what I mean? Without anybody's permission, the banks are just willingly giving this information up. So don't think it's too far-fetched just because it's in China. Like, oh, it's not going to happen here. As you can already see it popping up in little pieces all over the United States. It's a scary fact that a system like this could be in our future.
Hey, Gray, what do you think about this question right here?
I mean, he did state it.
He did
and
state
the thing
it.
is that, huh?
He did, yes. I saw that.
He made the statement. He, you know, I think, but the only thing is folks, we shall see. We shall see in the aspect of all we can do is hope that an elected official that we put in office or power, let's say Trump, for example. But Rudy and I love Trump's policies. The economy was doing well. The southern border was getting, fixed. There's a lot of things happening that he did that were good, except for something that bothered me the most, which is something that had to do with the Second Amendment.
Yeah,
which I know
red
Rudy,
flag. Yeah, red flag laws.
Red flag laws. He
There's a
thought
whole
they were
bunch of
good.
stuff. Yeah. I mean, people come on here sometimes and say, "Oh, you're a conservative." Some people have called me liberal. They're all over the place. I'm like, I'm neither. I don't label myself. I'm for America.
Yeah.
I am for America. I am for freedom. I am for the rule of law. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that President Trump did during his administration that I disagree with. But in the end, you have to look at the big picture. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is the question that I pose in this case right here. Trump promises not to allow CBDC. That is great. That is, when I heard him say that, I was like, that is great. That is so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
However, the question that comes to mind is, then what? Because Gray, I'm sure you understand just as well as I that the Federal Reserve note is in its last leg. There's almost no value left in it. From 1971 to today, the value of the dollar has gone down by almost 99%. That's from 71 to today, not from 1913 to today. So the value that's left in the dollar is almost non-existent. So in order for the government to stay in control the way that it is now, they need to be in charge of the fiat currency system. So if they can't have a CBDC, which would allow them to extend this financial system for a few more years, not forever, but for a few more years, they'll be able to extend this financial system that we're in. Without the CBDC, then what is it that's going to replace the dollar? Because something has to replace the dollar eventually, because the dollar will 100% guaranteed go to zero. 100% guarantee. Just like in some people may say, Gray, well, that's never happened before. I would say that you're wrong if you think that's never happened before. It's happened before here in America. Mm-hmm. In 1974, the dollar went to zero. The dollar used to be backed by gold. And President Nixon said the dollar is no longer backed by gold. You know what that means? That means that the dollar went to zero. And they had to negotiate with Saudi Arabia what they could do in order to give the dollar value.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, the petrodollar was born, which was just a big scheme that would allow the central banks to print as many dollars as they possibly could or wanted, because other nations were going to need those dollars in reserve in order to purchase their oil. Well, guess what? A couple of years ago, I think it was 2022, August 24th, I remember the date, Saudi Arabia broke the contract with the United States that it made back in 1973, where the United States would be its protector and its seller of arms. And they renegotiated that contract with Russia. So now how much is the dollar really needed worldwide? Well, we are finding out little by little. And as more nations enter into the block of BRICS nations, which are going to eventually just trade amongst each other with a common BRICS currency, not needing the dollar, we are going to find out that the dollar will once again go to zero. So the question is this: we're not going to have a CBDC. So what is it that we're going to have? Well, many people may say, well, gold and silver. Absolutely. That is the natural progression. After a fiat currency system fails, you go back to hard assets because you have to regain the trust of the population. Absolutely. We're going to go back to a gold and silver bimetallic backed up dollar. We will. It's the natural progression of it. But the bigger question is this: how much pain is that going to cause the American people, of which 98% of Americans have never even touched an ounce of silver or gold and don't even know that it's real money? That, ladies and gentlemen, is why not only do you have to prepare, but you have to try to spread the word for other people to prepare, because they're going to need food. And without gold and silver, you're not going to be able to buy that food. Why? Because our imports and our own food stuff within our borders is going to be extremely expensive. And again, if gold and silver won't solve the problem and we're not going to use a CBDC, what else is there? What do you think, Gray? Think I'm crazy?
No, there's going to be a situation. A lot of people, and most people are starting to see it, but it's not most people, but like people like us, there will be a calamity with our economy that where the dollar will, like you said, go to zero. The economy will crash into a point where they say, hey, this is the new shiny object. You know, if you want to survive, you need to, this is what you need to do. And they're going to force people in this. And the majority of the population, you're like, okay, sure. You know what I mean? Because they want to eat, they want to survive, they want to live, they want to do this and that. And it's a scary fact that a lot of people live in this fantasy land. You know what I mean? That the government's always going to take care of them. You know what I mean? And they just don't understand how many freedoms are you going to give up for that? And
yeah, too bad.
I believe what you believe in and hard assets. And a lot of people, we can get into the conversation about gold and silver. I love it. I love this stuff, man. And also I get into conversations about barterable goods. You know what I mean? Because it will come down to that. Small communities will barter and trade to make ends meet in a bad situation.
Yeah. Well, take a look at this, Gray.
FEDNOW.
Sign digger. They will go to FEDNOW. This is already working. A sign digger, I could be wrong. I'm not 100% on FEDNOW, but from what I understand, the FEDNOW is active right now. But the FEDNOW, I believe, is a CBDC that is only to be used by like large corporations and banks.
Yeah, financial institutions.
Yeah, and then I think that the CBDC, the centrally banked digital currency that will go from the Fed to we the people, as they planned it, is the next step. So first they introduced the FEDNOW to lay the foundation for the CBDC. That's how I understand it, but I can be wrong. I'm not a professional or an expert on that stuff right there. But if, because right now I've noticed there's several banks that are using the FEDNOW. If you've noticed, like if you bank with a certain institution, right, and you pay some of your bills online, I've noticed on one of my banks that it used to take like 2 or 3 days for that bill to show that it was paid after I made the transaction from my bank's website. Now it's paid like that right away. You make the transaction saying, I want this bill paid, and by the close of business, that bill's paid. And that's one of the things that FedNow was supposed to do. It was supposed to do like instant payments within financial institutions. So yeah, I know that FedNow is active, but I think that the progression of FedNow is to then incorporate into it a CBDC for the people. So I think that's how it is. I could be wrong.
It was launched in July 2023 with 35 participating institutions, a diverse range of banks and credit unions headquartered in 45 states, ranging in size from under 500 million to over 3 trillion in assets.
Yeah. Hey, what do you think about what the Supreme Court did? I think it was today or yesterday.
I think Texas, that to me, that was a bad decision. That was a bad decision.
I think that the Supreme Court shouldn't even be there. You know why? Because the law of the land is in black and white, and all you need to do in order to qualify is to just read. I mean, like you see the problem that we have with the Supreme Court. Look at the Second Amendment. How much clearer can the Second Amendment be? But the Supreme Court still entertains cases about the Second Amendment. You know, it shouldn't even get up to the Supreme Court. And I do believe that with Texas, that the 10th Amendment should apply with
Absolutely.
Texas. They should be able to tell the federal government, hey, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, but there you go, federal government. Try to come onto my land, federal government. This is the land of Texas. Try to come onto my land and stop my deputies or my law enforcement or whatever from doing the job that we, the state of Texas, appointed them to do. See if we won't arrest you and leave you in jail.
That's
what Texas ought to be doing right now.
It's to me, it's an act of instigating almost a civil war-like scenario.
Well, it's going to come to that, man, unfortunately. One day it will. In our lifetime, we will see that. It's going to be terrible. I mean, I hate to talk about that kind of stuff, but that's just the truth.
Absolutely. It's I think Texas should stand its ground, and regardless of who anybody says, because it's the state of Texas, it's a sovereign state.
And everybody there owns the gun, unless they live in Austin.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, go to California. You know what I mean? Cross the border in California. Leave Texas alone. You know, find another way.
I honestly feel that Lincoln did an injustice to these United States of America. He should have allowed. I mean, who knows, Gray? We probably wouldn't even be here had he not done what he did. So, you know, how can you go back in time and change something? All we can do is really talk about it. That's what history is for, right? So you can talk about it and hopefully learn something about it. But you know, those states that want to, everyone thinks that, well, not everyone, but I think this is what they're taught in school now, is that the Civil War in the United States of America was a war about slavery. And in all actuality, it turned into a war about slavery through propaganda by Lincoln himself. Okay, but it first started out as a war of secession. You know, there were several states in the South that said, "Hey, we don't want to be in this club anymore. We've paid our dues enough. We're going to go ahead and leave. So thank you very much." And Lincoln said, "Hey, no way you're going to do that, buddy. You ain't breaking this up." And from there on, we know what happened, right? But imagine had he said, "Yeah, go ahead and leave if you want to leave," right? I don't know. Things would have been a lot different today, but
for sure,
things would have been a lot freer, and things would have also been a lot more dangerous. You know, freedom doesn't come without its bit of danger as well.
A lot of people have been asking me about all this, you know, all these states trying to remove Trump off the ballot. And I said, you know, it's been done before. I said, that's exactly what Lincoln did. Which started the Civil War. Or is it inclination of why the Civil War became what it is? But yeah.
And I mean, people don't know. I'm not here today to trash on Lincoln. But
neither am I. I'm just saying these are things he did.
History is supposed to be history. Lincoln put hundreds and hundreds of, I think it was congressmen, in jail because they did not agree with him. He put reporters and journalists in jail without due process because they did not write what he wanted them to write. Now, ladies and gentlemen, and I mean, look at Woodrow Wilson, one of the biggest traitors in American history, in my opinion, two of the biggest traitors in American history, besides current or recent history, is Woodrow Wilson and FDR. And here everyone thinks FDR was such a hero. FDR was a traitor to his people, period. And so was Woodrow Wilson. And Woodrow Wilson even said it in his deathbed that he was a traitor to the American people, you know, paraphrasing it, you know, but people are not taught that. They're taught that these guys are heroes to Americans, when in all actuality, they played a major part in enslaving we the people of America to the point that we are today. So
absolutely, man. It's they don't teach history like they used to, man, and that's the biggest issue. Luckily, my daughter's history teacher, I know him. He's a conservative who teaches history in her high school, and we've had conversations. And sometimes he tells me he's like, man, sometimes my hands are tied in regards to the curriculum, even here in Florida, to certain things that I can and cannot say. And I was like, wow, that's truly a shame. He says, I can't publicly say that. But he says, it's a fact. You know, we get a curriculum handed down to us from the Board of Education of Florida, and this is what we're supposed to teach. And he says certain things that I would love to talk on. He says I can't because I feel it would be a good topic, a good lesson plan for the students to be educated on this specific part of history, but they won't let them.
Yep, man, look at this. This is a great, you see, this is the stuff we need to teach our children. You know, when our children come home from school, if you're a person that doesn't have much of a choice but to send your child to public school, you need to teach them this stuff and talk to people about this because they need to know. You know, hey, Gray, maybe we ought to do a segment during each of our live streams. Grayman for president. One thing that you would do on your first day. All right,
that's
Gray,
a good idea.
Gray for president. What's one thing you will do on your first day?
Something that I mean, I know there's a few things in my mind that I could think of, man. That would be
Hey,
that would be
keep
fun.
them in mind. This is our thing. On our next live stream, we'll pick another thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a little note down on that. Yeah, that's a good idea, man. I like
make
that.
a note because I'll forget about it.
Oh man. Speaking of which, if we want to run that last clip, it kind of makes me think about what we're talking about in regards to a dictatorship. And
whoa, wait a minute, man. You haven't answered what's one thing you would do on your first day as president.
Oh, you wanted me to answer that now?
Yeah, man. That's what it's about without thinking about it.
I mean, honestly, I would probably, if I can only do one thing, like if I had one thing that I could do immediately is abolish the ATF.
Outstanding. This is beautiful right here. I love that right there.
Yeah, close the border. Yeah, that's a good one too.
There's so many things, Gray. There's so many things. Like, you know, depending on what you answer, kind of depends on like what kind of a person you are. Like, can you guess what I would do my first day? What am I always talking about?
Well, currency. I knew it had to do something with the Federal Reserve.
Federal Reserve is gone. The Federal Reserve is gone. And I would make it the first thing that I do my first day, parts A, B, C, D, E, and F. Federal Reserve gone. It is gone. All its powers will be transferred to the Treasury, which is under the direct control of the President of the United States, which is how it should be, right? IRS is gone. The IRS is gone. Taxes are gone, right? I wouldn't even implement a flat tax. I would go ahead and do a 6-month tax holiday and only exist on taxes that are coming in from tariffs and 1% from the profits of big institutions like banks, big corporations, etc. The way it was in the beginning, right? All of the three-letter agencies. Hey, wait a minute, man. This is what I'm going to do my first day, Ray. You can't interrupt. I'm
the vice president here. I got to be able to speak too.
I'm the president, okay? And I tell you, it's going to have several parts. So the IRS is gone. The DEA, it's gone. You know why the DEA is gone? Because our border will be closed. Number one, and that's where most of our drugs come from. And I do believe as well that if tomorrow all drugs were legalized, Gray man, are you going to start doing heroin if all drugs were legalized tomorrow? No,
Hell
right?
No,
because you have common sense. People are going to do drugs if they're going to do drugs, whether they're legal or not. All right. Anyways, That's just my first day. We'll take it easy this time around so I can have something to talk about next time.
Yeah, because you're gonna.
Go ahead, Vice President.
No, I was just thinking, taxes is another outdated thing that was only supposed to exist for a short period of time during World War II.
Yep.
And they took advantage of the system, and now we're taxed to death.
Well, you know, Gray, I do believe that we need to be taxed to an extent, and let me explain to you why.
Well, right? before you say that, if America was a major net exporter instead of importer, that would resolve a lot of our financial issues.
Yeah, absolutely. But since we have a fiat currency, that's the world reserve currency, it's why we're an importer and not an exporter. You know, like look at India. India's a net exporter. They have no choice. They have to work, right?
Yeah.
You know, so I forgot what I was going to say. You interrupted.
Sorry. That's how I get to. That's why
the government. Absolutely. When we get rid of the CIA, the FBI, when we get rid of the DEA, when we get rid of the IRS, when we get rid of the Federal Reserve, even though they're not part of the government, but you know what I mean? When we get rid of the Bureau for Land Management and all these places, and then we allow the states to incorporate their own solutions to their own individual state problems, instead of carpeting over a problem, like if every state was the same, then the government wouldn't need that many taxes because the states are taking care of it. And
Absolutely.
I remember now what I was going to say. We do have to pay some federal taxes, and this is why, because we live in an era where we need to have a good offense to be a deterrent as a defense. So we
Mhm.
do need, unfortunately, to have those aircraft carriers, to have those carrier groups. We do need those F-35s. We do need to maintain our nuclear arsenal, and that does take money. So we do need to pay some taxes to an extent to ensure that we can guarantee the freedom of our citizens through a strong offense. That way, no other
Right.
country thinks they can just come on in here. So yes, we have to pay some taxes. Times have changed, but not nearly as much as what we pay now. And day one, Gray, day one, I will make it a death penalty offense. Anyone that even talks about starting up another Federal Reserve charter bank.
So that you can amend that to the Constitution.
Oh no! Wait a minute. I think you're going to have to be president first before me,
Why?
because then you can make it a law that even though I wasn't born here, that I can be president.
Good point.
No.
Oh man, you gotta love it, man. But I mean, we've already had presidents like that already. So who pays attention to that stuff
There
anymore?
is so many things, man, that we would need to do. I don't even know if there's enough days in a presidency for all of the things that need to do to get done, even if there was no opposition. Imagine that, Gray. Imagine
You
if
know,
imagine if you had carte blanche, right, to do whatever you wanted to do, lawfully, right? There's so much stuff to do. I don't even know if there'd be enough days in the presidency for you to get everything done, because it's so screwed up. It's been so screwed up, so manipulated, through so much crime from within, of course.
that's me and you were talking about that just recently. Trump has 4 years. He's going to be so busy in those 4 years. What is he going to? How much is he going to be able to
Yeah.
reverse?
You know
You
what? I
know?
think the only way, if the Orange Man Bad gets back into office, I think the only way that he will be successful is if he picks a good VP that will carry on his legacy. And
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know. Look at the last VP he picked. You know, I don't know. You just never know, man. You just don't know. Some people are good actors.
Absolutely. It's always hard to tell.
What is this? Left. Are you talking about change my last name to that? I thought it was what is this,
Hussein or
Soretto? Something like that. Barry. I thought you want me to change my name to Barry. I forget the last name, but yeah, I got you.
But yeah, it's crazy when you look at things in general, and you're absolutely right, because a president can only do so much in 4 years. I mean, we had to give Joe Biden credit. He's destroyed pretty much everything that you can possibly think of in 4 years. But
Yeah.
our southern, it's bad, and people get mad when I say certain things like that or I make a statement like that. I'm like, honestly, folks, look at your life 4 years prior to this, and look at your life 4 years, over the past 4 years.
Oh, these guys are killing me, man. They're killing me over here. Listen, look at.
Make it a national holiday. Just don't marry Big Mike.
Oh my God, you guys are killing me over here. You're making me blush.
Oh man, there's rumor about that, brother. There's rumors. Matter of
No,
fact,
I
I
don't.
think
I don't want to talk about it, man. I don't
no,
care.
no. I'm not going to
Okay?
talk about that. I'm just going to say Trump made a statement earlier today. They asked him, do you think Biden's going to drop out? And he's like, from a personal standpoint, I think he is. Who do you think they're going to put in if he drops out? Who do you think they're going to put in there?
I don't care. I don't care anymore, man. I really don't. I mean, in all honesty, man, I really don't, because it's not going to change things. It's like I said, things are going to get really bad. It doesn't matter. Okay, so check this out, man. This is the way that I'm going to say it right here. Hopefully, it makes sense. All right. Let's say that you have a car that's just hanging on, right? But you can't buy a new car. It's the only car you have. You're stuck with this car, right? And you find yourself a mechanic who's a terrible mechanic. This mechanic, every time he works on your car, it's worse and worse. It takes you longer and longer to get to work, and the car breaks down even more. But you can't get rid of the car. It's the only car you have. But this mechanic that you have is terrible. It almost seems like he's making things worse, but you can't get rid of the car. But then let's say that you find a really good mechanic to work on your car, and he works on your car and he keeps your car running, but your car is still going, that engine is eventually going to blow. And you know that for a fact. You don't know when exactly, but this mechanic, even though he's the best mechanic in your town, that engine, for a fact, even he tells you this engine is going to blow, right? Okay, so that car is America, and the mechanics are one and the other. Yeah, you may have a mechanic that's terrible, that's just sabotaging this car so you can come in and get more work done on it, and your car is terrible. You have a mechanic who's great and is keeping that car running, but for a fact that car is going to blow. It just doesn't matter in the long, in the grand scheme of things. Where it does matter, in my opinion, is that once that engine does blow, you have a mechanic in office that knows how to put it back together.
Yeah, good point.
And knows how to put it back together without ripping you off and without lying to you. That's what matters, man. So
that's
I don't know
what's great analogy.
Happen, I don't know what's going to happen. I hope that God is on our side and that he doesn't see that we have to suffer for too much longer. Because I'll tell you what, only because you don't see it on TV, on the news, people in America are suffering. All right. 70% of Americans that work live paycheck to paycheck, which means that 70% of our brothers and sisters in these United States of America are 2 weeks away pretty much from being homeless. That's not America, man. That's not what America was meant to be. And the reason is, Gray, is because of the financial system by which we've been governed for the last 51 years now, or 50 and a half years now. That's why it all comes down to how good is your money. That's what it comes down to.
I told my daughter a statistic that I found out that it was very troubling to me. I think I might have mentioned it to you. I said, just so you know, 1 in 5 children in America is starving. I said, so when you go to school and you look at your kids and you have 5 friends, I said, one of those 5 friends is probably in a predicament that they're not talking about, but they're not eating. And I said, just think about that. Put your mind to that. And you're trying to, open her mind to see where this country's at right now. And I said, that's horrible. It's like you said, this is supposed to be America. We're supposed to be this great nation, powerful nation, top of the game. And we have children starving in this country.
Yep. Yep. And like I said, they don't show that. They don't show that. People don't know that. The only people that think that are the people that it's happening to, but they don't know how widespread it is. One of the things I remember this is such a sad thing. And this was Bush Jr., right? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, well, you ain't never going to do that again, or something like that. So I remember him having a town hall and this lady standing up and saying, I work 3 jobs. I can barely pay my mortgage. I have to count on assistance in order to eat, et cetera, et cetera. Telling him about how hard her life is. And you know what he says? Man, that's America for you. You're a hard worker. That's what America was built on, hard work. Yeah. Come on, man. Come on, man. Really?
Come on, man.
No, man. America was built on freedom. And whenever you have an institution that can determine what the value of your labor is by being able to determine what the value of your currency is, that's not freedom. That's slavery, really, to tell you the truth. It's just slavery in an open, what do you call it? We live in an open plantation, is what it is. Think about it. Whenever you are told what your labor, ladies and gentlemen, is your private property. It belongs to you. When an institution tells you what your labor is worth, then that is a form of slavery, because you yourself don't even know until you get paid. And you still don't even know after you get paid, because the manipulation of the currency in which you interact in all right, that can be changed at any time. The value of that can be changed at any time by one institution. So
It's I made me think of something. An article I read the other day, or it stated that the American Red Cross declared an emergency, that their blood supply is like at a 20-year low. And I was like, wow. I said, just imagine something catastrophic happens and these people don't have access to certain things, just like blood. I was just like, man, it's crazy. Every time I read one of these articles about just little things like that pop on my head, it's just compiling the fact that we need to be prepared as best as we possibly can be, man.
Yep, absolutely, man. If you're not prepared, you are wrong, especially after the few years that we've gone through.
Oh, it made me think about something that we were talking about earlier, the WEF and whatnot. Because Rudy, you love coffee, right? You love coffee, don't you?
Oh, I don't only love coffee; I need coffee. Right? I am an addict.
Did you hear the Swiss banker and World Economic Forum agenda contributor Herbert Keller said that coffee that we all drink emits between 15 to 30 tons of CO2 per ton of coffee. Every time we drink coffee, we're basically putting CO2 into the Earth's atmosphere. They want to ban coffee. They want to get rid of it, man. It's too much.
All they have to do is just one of the people that went to the WEF meeting, just one of them don't fly there and do a teleconference. And there you go. We can have coffee for the rest of eternity.
Absolutely, man.
The thing is, it's like I told you at the beginning of the live stream, Gray. It's about control. This has nothing to do about the climate.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing whatsoever. I watched a clip here. I think I put it on my community post. It was a clip from a congressional hearing. And I forget the name of the senator or the congressman, whatever it is. I forget their name. But they asked the panel of climate experts that were being questioned, they asked them, what percentage of the atmosphere does CO2 make up? Guess who knew the answer, Gray? Guess who knew the answer?
I have no idea.
I did. I knew the answer right away. But I knew that none of those people would know the answer. Why? Because I know I'm going to get in trouble. All right. Please support the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Watch the videos all the way through. Let an ad or two go by. It really helps the YouTube algorithm help the channel out. I'm going to get in trouble because climate change is a hoax. 100%. It was put upon us in order to strip us even more of our wealth. 0.04% of the atmosphere is CO2. Not 0.4. Not 4%, 0.04%, 4/100th of 1% makes up the CO2 in the atmosphere. The world, vegetation in our world will not exist if we get below 2.02. At 0.02, at about 180 ppm of CO2 in the atmosphere, vegetation starts to die.
Mm-hmm.
If you talk to any scientist who has not been paid off by some kind of NGO or government that's done his or her own study, they will tell you that the optimal levels of CO2 for life on Earth is about 1,000 to 2,000 ppm. Why? Ask a farmer who farms in greenhouses. What do? They pump CO2 into their greenhouses. Why? Because plants eat CO2.
Mm-hmm.
CO2 is plant food, meaning that it's human food, because without plants, humans don't exist. So, ladies and gentlemen, whatever it is that you think about this, do a little bit of research. Ask yourselves why it is that all of these charts that they show you, that shows the temperature of the earth going up, always start around 1850 or forward. Why is that? It's because prior to 1850, 1860, we had just gotten out of a grand solar minimum that lasted about 50 or 60 years. Well, during a grand solar minimum, the earth gets cooler. The temperature goes down.
Mm-hmm.
Well, after a grand solar minimum, what do you think is going to happen to temperature naturally? It's going to go up. Well, they won't show you a chart from before 1850, because then you may have to ask yourselves, well, wait a minute, why was the temperature way down for the last 40, 50 years before then? Right? And they definitely will not show you a chart that goes back 500,000 years from ice core samples, because you will notice that in the last 500,000 years, there were 3 periods in time where the temperature of the earth was either the same as it is now or higher. But how can that be when 120,000, 325,000, 440,000 years ago, there were no SUV, there were no coal plants, right? How could that be, ladies and gentlemen? Well, they don't want you to ask those questions because they have no answers for those questions. Why? Because it's a hoax. You breathing out CO2 and pushing methane out from the other end, that is not affecting whether there's hurricanes or whether there's snow or whether it gets 1 degree warmer. It's not affecting none of that. But if they make you believe that, then maybe you will be okay with eating bugs. Maybe you will be okay with buying an electric vehicle and only charging it when they allow you to charge it through your smart meter. Maybe you will be okay with never again getting on an airplane to visit grandma during Thanksgiving because airplanes put out too much CO2. Maybe you will be okay with their agenda if you believe what they're saying. But if you do a little bit of research, you'll understand that this has all been a boondoggle that has taken the wealth out of humanity and spent it on stuff that they wanted to make themselves rich with. Al Gore is a billionaire for one reason and one reason only, because he's a freaking liar who lied to humanity and stole our wealth. That's the only reason he's a billionaire, ladies and gentlemen. And man, you know what, Gray? Before I start doing this live stream again, I'm going to have to take one of my heart medications.
I was going to say your blood pressure's going up.
Listen, man, I love humanity. I love human beings. We need to come together. And we need to share this information with one another. And if you don't believe me, that's fine. It's okay. Go do your own research. Go look this stuff up and prove me wrong. Prove me wrong that there's not enough resources on Earth to build the amount of solar panels and windmills that we need in order to replace the energy that we derive from fossil fuels. Prove me wrong that all of the windmill blades that are now decommissioned are being ground up and they're being used in a very environmentally friendly purpose or way. You know what they're being used for? To burn up, to create electricity. You can't make this stuff up, Gray. So anyways, do your own research, understand what's going on. The only way that we'll be able to progress as humanity, as each other's brothers and sisters, is to understand that we do have an enemy. But the enemy that we have is a common enemy, and it's not one another. All right, Gray. Let me see. I think I clocked that in at about a 5-minute rant, so you got the next 5 minutes.
No, you're doing good. I think what I want to do is I want to save the next clip for next week on my channel, and we'll pick up from there.
Okay.
Because it's like another 2 or 3 minute clip, and where are we at? I know we're a little over an hour, right? Kind of see somewhere.
Look at that. We're at 1 hour and 9 minutes.
We've had good conversation, man. I love these live streams. But I'm gonna save that one. I'm gonna mark that one. I got it on my computer. When we go live on my channel next week, and maybe we'll start with that one. I don't know. We'll see what happens from now until then, and I'll keep that. But luckily, believe it or not, we went through everything other than that one on today's live stream. So that we did good, man. We did good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Rudy Rant.
I'm looking through some of the things, see if there's any questions in there, but I don't see any questions.
Yeah, so if you see anything, then we can talk on that.
Yeah. Yeah, Joey, that's why I had to stop. I felt like my head was going to pop off from like here up.
Well, it's remember you said when we first started doing these live streams together on each other's channels, we were talking about that I'm the more, I guess you called it, a calm demeanor.
Yeah, you're a great interviewer, Gray. Why? Because you like to listen and you have a calm demeanor. Me, I just let it out, man. I just let it out.
But that's what makes us quite the pair, man. We have I I think we have a great chemistry on screen, and we work well in regards to the way we do this. And I think our viewers are really enjoying it. I mean, what number are we on? We're on number 8 only, right?
This is our 8th episode. Yeah. Yeah.
This year should be fun, man. Being it's an election year, we will have lots of talking points to talk about. It should be very intriguing.
From now on, we'll wait. We'll save the testier subjects that might get a channel demonetized and kicked out of YouTube for your videos. For your
okay, yeah, man, that's fine. Yeah, I mean,
just kidding, man. Just kidding. I know some people will get triggered. They're like, that ain't me.
I never know, man. Sometimes I've been getting little notifications from YouTube on videos that I did 2 years ago saying it's been demonetized.
Me too. I had a whole bunch of videos demonetized. You know what I do? I just delete them because you know what? Nobody watches those videos anymore. I have them on hard drive, that I've saved over the years. Nobody's watching them anymore, which means nobody's getting anything out of them. It's just ammunition for their algorithm to look for something that maybe you said in the past that they have in policy now to try to get you with. But I still have so many videos up that I'm sure they can find stuff if they want to. So that's why I've always told people, when it's time to go, it'll be time to go. When it's time to go, they're going to find something to say, you got to go. Right.
Yeah,
so you just never know.
I'm the same way. I back everything up to a hard drive, every video that I do. I wanted you to take a guess, and I know you're going to hit this spot on. What videos you think are being demonetized on my channel?
Which ones are being demonetized on your channel? What I'm guessing?
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think videos that keep on hitting?
Gardening.
No, that would be interesting. That would really piss me off though, because I love gardening and doing that on my channel. It's the Sunday shift report.
Oh no, yeah, you told me about that. Well, yeah, man, I get videos demonetized all the time, man. And I mean, that's why I've fallen out of favor with the YouTube algorithm. Literally, and I think we've talked about this before. Literally, I'm only being recommended, not even to the subscribers of this channel. Like 95% of the people that are watching my videos are people that have never watched my videos before, which in a way is a good thing because you get more subscribers. But even the subscribers, only like maybe 5% of people that are currently subscribed get notifications or even get my thumbnail recommended on their stream so that they can see that I put up a video. So yeah, I mean, I'm about, as far as viewership, I'm about 20% of what I was 4 to 6 months ago. But the thing is, Gray, is that I find it very difficult to self-censor myself more so than what I do it already. I think I already self-censor, unfortunately, enough to just stay on there, but not enough for them to shadow ban me. But I mean, like I say health crisis, right? Everybody knows what I mean when I say health crisis, right? The juicy juice, everybody knows what I mean. And I don't mind doing that in order to get around the algorithm, because some things you have to do. Remember, you got to live to fight another day, right? So if that's one of the things you have to do in order to live to fight another day, so you do it, right? You keep getting the word out and you keep interacting with your community, which is obviously something that I really enjoy. But eventually one day they'll find enough stuff that they'll say, yeah, you're gone, and there won't be anything that I can do about it. And it is what it is. All right.
No, I agree. What I've been hoping by us doing this cross-platform collaborations is that the people that happen to find me or find you will find us, and then we can get the word out to more and more and more people in regards to emergency preparedness.
Hey, great. This is why I love people, man. I know I cut you off again. This is why I love.
Where are you at?
Sign digger. I love you, man. Rudy, get off the. When I said I have to take my heart medication, get off the meds, man. You won't be able to get this. I'm not on any medications. I was just playing around, but thank you. I know that you're saying this from a good heart. That's why I'm saying thank you. And that's what I love about community. That you guys are awesome.
Yeah, I've noticed over the last year, our communities are very alike in regards to our viewers and our hardcore foundation of our community members. And I love that fact because I've always admired your community even before I started YouTube. Thank you, Yarn Prepper. I don't know.
That makes sense right there. Linda Bob says, call some of those videos a different name. But the thing is sometimes they target you. You know what I've noticed, Gray, is that like if you get a strike, not even a strike, but a demonetization, man, you get throttled down really big time. And then for like the next 3 to 6 months or so, you know how before you used to just say, yeah, my video's good to go. You know, like you're doing a self-check on your video for monetization. Well, whenever I get a strike, that self-check, even though I click it, they still check the entire video before I can find out whether there's monetization or not. So they'll do that for like 3 to 6 months. I think unless I mess up and get demonetized again sometime soon, I think I'm starting to climb out of that shadow banning a little bit. I think I'm back up to probably about 20 to 25% of the recommendations that they used to make. Where before I was at about, I would say 15 to 20% I was before. So I think I'm starting to climb out very, very slowly. But it is what it is.
I'll be honest with you. The people that can truly, the folks that are watching us right now, either my channel or your channel or our channels, however they want to look at it, it's also, they have the power to help us. And what I mean by that is, like you said, if we put out a video, maybe it's not the most intriguing video, or it's something, a topic that you truly, are not truly interested, but you take the time, you let it run, maybe you put it on 2 times speed or whatever it may be, and you hit that like button, you leave a comment, you're very interactive with the channel. The more of you folks that do that, either for Rudy or myself or both of us, or other channels that you watch, you're truly helping that person get their message pushed through the algorithm, because the algorithm has that thing. If someone's watching this longer and they're hitting that thumbs up button and they're being interactive, not only with you, but other commenters down in the comment section, it keeps on pushing it higher and higher and higher. And so you folks have the power to kind of break the algorithm, as I like to call it. And that's why a lot of us, I know Rudy doesn't do it as much as I do, but every video I always say, hey, if you got any value, hit that thumbs up button, leave a comment. If you're new here, subscribe, check out the rest of the channel, because Rudy's done over 1,000 videos. I've probably done over 400 or 500 videos. If you ever get bored, check out our playlist or something that we've done in the past, and it will definitely benefit the channels. It's just, I've noticed that when I've told people that, and condition my viewers to, like, hey, leave a comment, regardless if it's just for the algo, it truly helps the channel out a lot, and it helps us break through some of those barriers.
Hey, Gray, you know what's the number one thing that really, it's a combination of 2 things in one though, but I'll tell you, the number one thing that really helps the channel the most. So if you're a super fan, this is what you do to help the channel out. First, let the entire video play through, okay? And click on like one of the cards in the end that takes you to another video from that channel, and let that other video play at least half through. The algorithm really likes that. Whenever you watch a creator's video all the way through, and then you follow it up with like another video and let it play like half through, it really helps a lot. I know that's a lot to ask for though. I mean, I already feel lucky enough that all of you, come and share time with me, especially during the live stream, because these are really fun, but
Absolutely.
that you come and spend a little bit of time on our channels every day. But hey, listen, Gray, guess what?
What's up?
Today is a very good day. You know why? Because today is Doggone It's birthday. So happy birthday,
doggone it.
Happy birthday to you. May the good Lord bless you with many more. And that just goes to show that today is a very good day. God bless.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. That's awesome. That is awesome.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
You know what, man? I am starting to get a headache. Because you know what, Gray, man? You're a medic. I've been getting headaches a lot lately, man. I don't know what's wrong. I have a feeling that my diabetes is acting up on me. And you know what? I can talk about this for a minute and then we'll sign on. I've been very good for the last year as far as like my diet and stuff like that. But for some reason, it's like backfiring on me and I'm getting these headaches. I think stress affects your blood sugar, doesn't it?
It can, because it releases cortisol into your system, and then cortisol transitions to stress.
Yeah, so
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 you sleep
I
well?
think that a little bit of stress here lately has really affected, my health a little bit. But you know what, ladies, I'm not asking for any pity, all right, or anything like that. It is what it is. I'm a realist. But yeah, I have a doctor appointment sometime next month, and let's see. But it's very irritating for me because I've been really good. for like a full 12 months, I've been really super good. For the Christmas season, holiday season, I probably spent about 2 weeks where I guess you can say cheated, but not really, because I didn't go crazy. Not like I sat down and ate a cheesecake at a time, but I had a little bit of carb here, a little bit of carb there, but not nearly anywhere as much as what I normally used to have. Just very little bit amounts here and there. And I tested my blood sugar and everything when I had them, and it was great. But all of a sudden, you know, I'm a little more insulin resistant than what I normally am. So, but anyways, I don't even know what made me start talking about that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're having a headache,
I think it was the person who talked about me taking my meds.
it's like I tell my wife and daughter, a lot of times they get headaches and stomach aches, and they'll take some ibuprofen or they'll take something, and I'm like, stop taking it. And they're like, what do you mean stop taking it?
Yeah.
I have a headache. I'm like, I said, you need to find the underlying cause of what's
Yeah.
causing these persistent headaches or consistent headaches. Once you find that, then you attack that issue there. It could be lack of sleep. It could be stress. There's a lot of different things that happen in our lives that we don't think about because we're just, coasting on through. We get up, we go to work, we do this, we do that. And sometimes we have to look inside of ourselves and it's like, what's specifically causing this to happen? And once you find the underlying cause, you can fix it. It's something simple like nutrition and sleep and stress and stuff like that.
Yeah, man. I mean, it could be 1,000 things. It
Absolutely.
could be 1,000 things. I mean, all you can do is what you can do, right? Just do what you can do. I've met my goals so far for the last year. I told myself I'm not going to go on any medication. I'm going to take care of this head on with just my diet and my lifestyle. And so far, I'm doing way better today than I was a year ago. A lot better, like really a lot better. So I'm not really complaining about that. It's just, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more progress, but it is what it is. You really can't complain. I woke up this morning, right? So can't complain.
One other thing I want to add to that is a lot of people lack what they call macronutrients. That's where a lot of people don't.
Macro or micro?
Well, there's a bit of both, I guess.
Your macronutrients is carbohydrates, protein, and fat.
Well, then you have magnesium, potassium.
Your micronutrients.
Micronutrients, yes. Yeah. That's sorry.
If you don't want to lack any micronutrients, what do you have to eat, Gray? Nutrient survival.
Absolutely.
Oh, great. Check this out. Let me know how you like it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking out there for the very best in freeze-dried foods with all the nutrients you need on a daily basis, take a look at Nutrient Survival. You won't search for anything else. Nutrient Survival has everything that your body needs on a daily basis. That way you can strive instead of just survive. What do you think? Is that a good commercial or what?
Oh, wait a minute. Good one, right? I like it.
And beat ESG by supporting small American companies.
Well, that won't show well on there.
I'm going to have to change my background to sponsored video. No, I'll tell you what. Let me show you real quick. Every single day. This is why I don't get sick, in my opinion. Every day I have one of these. Every single day, ladies and gentlemen. Every single day I have an immune boost. I don't get sick. And whenever I start feeling a little scratch in the back of my throat, like the first day of school, when your kids come back with all those germs from interacting with hundreds of other kids that they haven't seen in the summer, all summer long, whenever I start feeling that little itch in the back of the throat, I'll have one of these guys like every 4 hours. I'll drink one and I don't get sick. And if I do get sick, it's maybe once every 2 or 3 years. And I think that it's good for you to get sick every 2 to 3 years because it keeps your immune system strong. Hey, let's go ahead and call it, Gray. Because keep talking. We're never going to finish this live stream.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I was going to add. That's why I like to play in the dirt. That's why I garden, because I get those.
Absolutely. Yep.
Get those good little bugs in me. You know what I mean, and help me build my immunity towards the world, basically. But yeah, it's been about time. We were down. Wow, Rudy, we're an hour and a half, man. See what you did,
man. You talk too much, man. I'm gonna have to talk to your wife about that. Maybe she can, put a buzzer on you or something when we're doing our live.
Something to help me out here, man, to keep me on track.
All right. Hey, man, you take it out, man. I like your outro better than mine. You take it out, and I'll stick the outro in the end. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining in. All right, God bless every one of you. God bless America. Take it away, Gray.
Yes, we definitely appreciate you guys taking the time out of your evening to hang out with us, myself and Rudy. Next week will be on my channel. And so join us there to continue the conversation, and let's have a lot of fun with it. Other than that, folks, remember, you are not alone. This is Gray Man and Alaska Prepper, and we're out. God bless. And thank you for taking the time to watch these videos.
God bless.